Thanks for tuning in and welcome back to the shop. Last week I took this fuel pump out of this engine to put back into this truck. Let's see where we can get today. But first, if you're new here, this is our 2013 Mitsubishi Fuso FG and I'm slowly turning it into an overland camper. I've done quite a bit of work on the interior. We've got a kitchen, some structure for the bed, the front furniture and electronics. But the fuel pump is kind of putting a damper on things. The Mitsubishi Fuso 4P10 engine, which is actually a Fiat F1C engine, uses a Bosch CP4 high-pressure injection fuel pump, which unfortunately in North America with ultra-low sulfur diesel is prone to catastrophic failure. Now, if you have a Mitsubishi Fuso with the 4P10 engine or any diesel engine with a CP4 fuel pump on it, you're going to want to stick around and watch the videos that come up on this channel to make sure that you never have to deal with a catastrophic failure like this. If you want to see how to remove the CP4 fuel pump from the 4P10 engine, check out this video because I have already removed this one and I've repeated the same process on the engine in the truck to pull the pump out of this one. For the most part, removing the pump on the engine in the truck wasn't really any more difficult to the one out of the truck, with the exception of rotating the crankshaft to get to top dead center. Because if you recall in the previous video where I removed the pump, I used a 38mm socket to rotate the crankshaft, and well, you just can't get a 38mm socket in there. I did find that I was able to use about a 2-inch wrench, you know, standard off-the-shelf toolbox item, and slip it onto the nut on the backside of the fan. And that allowed me to get some rotation in on the areas where there's no compression, but I came up with a better tool. I created this little tool from a piece of scrap and a couple of bolts, but what it does is it allows me to slide it into the harmonic balancer, and then from underneath the truck I could slip in a pry bar and actually turn the crank. Sometimes taking a little bit of time to make a tool like this can really save you time in the long run. As I mentioned, I thought I would do in the previous video, I removed the camshaft position sensor and I used that with my camera looking through the hole to determine when number 1 cylinder was at top dead center. After getting the timing set the same, the rest of the disassembly was exactly the same as the other engine. And
it's a pretty tight squeeze to get this pump in and out, but by rotating the body so the coupling is pointing up and forwards and then rotating it down as you slip it into place seems to make it work. A few wiggles while pushing forward and you should get it to engage and slide all the way in.
I have seen some comments online of people saying you don't need to worry about the timing when you're replacing the fuel pump. Well, let me tell you why you do. Inside this housing, there's a piece like this, and this allows 2 dogs that come off the pump to engage with 2 dogs that come off the back of the driven gear. If you can't quite picture what I'm talking about, these 2 tabs here fit like that. There's 2 more on the engine half that go there. Those need to be lined up perfectly in order for the 2 to mesh and the pump to actually push into place. Now, because we can rotate the pump a little bit one way or the other, there is a little bit of play, but not very much. So the time that you take to set the 2 engines the same, or if you only have a pump, to make sure that the pump rotation is in the same position on both the old pump and the new pump is pretty important. And you'll notice that I've 3D printed some caps to keep the dirt out of the pump while I'm handling it. Now that the pump is back in place, it's time to start on those 3-hour-long bolts.
As much as I'd love to blame Fiat for a poor design, the reality is it's the power steering hardline and the coolant hardpipe that make this job difficult. But it is nice to know that the job is possible without removing either of them.
Well, I will say there's 2 little tricks that I learned today while reassembling the pump onto the engine in the truck. This lower 13mm bolt that is such a pain in the butt is much easier with a half-size wrench. Reason being, when you're using a angled wrench like this, which you have to have in order to get past the pump and onto that nut that you can see down there, when you've got a full length wrench, you actually end up hitting the oil filter housing. Now, of course, you could follow the manual and remove the oil filter housing, but that makes a big mess and it's a lot more work. So once you get that nut initially cracked free with the larger wrench, going to a stubby then gives you all this room that you can swing back and forth. Now, the bolt does have to be loose because You're just kind of shuttling back and forth between your fingers. But all three of the fuel pump bolts, once cracked free, did turn fairly easily. The second trick that I came up with also has to do with that lower bolt. As you may have noticed in the time-lapse video, I was able to get a gear wrench on there. The difficulty is you can't use this at the beginning and you can't use it at the end because there's not enough space for it. But in the middle, where you can just get the angle right, you can drop the wrench down, but you can't actually push it onto the head of the bolt because you can't get your fingers in there. But if you have an old flat-bladed screwdriver that you've customized with a bent tip, you can actually just barely sneak it in here like an extra finger and hold the back of the wrench in place. Those two little tricks alone probably saved me half an hour pulling the pump on the engine in the truck versus the one that I have on the floor, and another half an hour reinstalling the lower bolt on the pump in the truck. Let alone the far, far less frustrating activity of using a gear wrench versus trying to spin a bolt between your fingertips annoyingly and getting about a 32nd of a rotation at a time. Now, one thing did occur to me while I was doing this work, and that is in the last video, I said I'd rather not pull an injector from the truck to check timing. I know this engine is at top dead center, and I can verify that through the injector hole, but I really don't want to pull an injector out of the number 1 cylinder on the truck. But in reality, I'm pulling all these injectors to make sure they're okay anyway.
Duh!
Not sure why I didn't put 2 and 2 together on that last time, but really it wasn't that hard to pull the camshaft position sensor and check the timing through that. Now, if you're interested in seeing me pull the injectors,
I think that's exactly what they want.
make sure you hit subscribe, because that is something I will be doing in the very near future. Other than that, if you have any questions about what I did this time, throw them down in the comments below. And of course, if you think this video will help someone, please feel free to share it with them. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you next time.
Duh!